Austin, would you please give us a blessing?
Lord, we come to you today grateful for the opportunity to be of service to the Cherokee people and to you. And we ask for your guidance, we ask for your wisdom, and we ask for you to always help us to remember who we serve. In your name, amen.
Amen. Please do roll call.
Yes, sir. David Walkenstick.
Honey.
Brian Warner.
Honey.
Bill England.
Honey.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Harley Buzzard. Joe Bird. Sean Crittenden. Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Frankie Hargis. Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan. Dick Lay.
Honey.
Mike Shambaugh.
Here.
Mary Bakershaw.
Honey.
P.O. Smith.
Here.
Janice Taylor.
Here.
Victoria Vesquez.
Honey.
We do it.
Honey. And then Joe Burt's here too.
I got him.
Hear a motion to approve the minutes from May 14, 2018.
So moved.
Move second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Then reports, vocational programs. There's a big slew of people here. You guys, everybody just come on up. Whoever's coming on up. Yeah, there's enough chairs there.
Diane
Yep.
sends her apologies. She's at Job Corps working on an RFP.
Man,
I'm scoot in,
it's the
so she's
all-star
really
team right
busy.
here.
This is the A team. A. So the beautiful shirts that you have been given is compliments of the Disability Employment Initiative. So
Thank you, appreciate that.
let me introduce. This is Marsha White. She's the program manager. Josh Drywater, he is a disability resource navigator. He's in our Tulsa office. Cheryl Adams, also a disability resource navigator. She's in our Pryor office. And then we've got Lindsay Williams. She's our budget analyst. And I'm in the process of hiring a new special assistant. Welcome, Lucy Washington. So this is our. Now, you have the Career Services report in front of you. Do you have any questions that I could try to answer?
Hey, Councilman Buzzard.
I'd like to have an overview of what they do with it.
We're working on written materials, and we've got a little dog and pony show going, but the gist of the Disability Employment Initiative is to increase the hiring of individuals with disabilities. Whether it's a physical disability, mental disability, hearing, learning disability, whatever it is, that's the whole purpose for this grant. It's funded by the U.S. Department of Labor. We got $2.49 million. Right, thank you. We're operating the grant for 3 years, and our main thrust is to focus on the awareness of employment, and that would be doing the training for our career services staff, hopefully increasing ADA requirements throughout the complex in our 14-county area. And we've already started with the Claremore office. We've got some work to do at this back door where the stairs are, there's some issues.
Yeah.
They're a little shallow, so we've got some work to do.
Yes, Councilman?
That's excellent. I'm glad to hear this because I have a problem with the JTAG office with disabilities, ADA, and I've been on it for 3 months and nothing's done. This is great. I'm glad to hear this grant to come to, and you guys are on top
We'll
of
team
some
up
good
and work
stuff.
together on that then.
Our VOC rehab program has been in existence since 1992. It's the longest running tribal VR program in the state of Oklahoma, but it has been an issue. Tribal sovereignty and ADA don't always match. So it's hard work. We're working towards it. We do partner with the State Department of Rehab Services, and they came in and did the assessment and the analysis for the building for us. So we will ask them to come back and come see Jay.
Yes, Councilman, go ahead.
So this is also, you can help with the person that has a disability to get a job is main.
That's
the main
correct.
purpose.
That's correct. We have 200 slots for client services. 50 of those slots will come out of our regular career services budget, and 150 will come out of the grant.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Councilman Buzzard. Next meeting, Gary Cooper's gonna be here I think they said the housing authority on that building there in Dade.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll inquire about that.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilman Eglin?
Yeah, thank you. Would you send us the representative in our districts?
It's these two individuals.
Cheryl,
One's got the north and one's got the
Josh.
south. Josh.
it started with a J.
Josh is a veteran, by the way, so we're really happy to have him. And speaking of veterans, Marcia and Cheryl are both veterans with the Cherokee Nation, so we've moved them over into other programs, and we're utilizing their knowledge, skills, and abilities to help us out with this grant. Real happy to have it.
We have a detailed map, though, Mr. Anglin, I can
Oh,
send.
Yes.
did you email that?
Yes.
Okay, Councilwoman Taylor?
And while I've got you guys in the room, at least half of you have worked different events that I have had, and I just want to tell you that I always appreciate you being there and your enthusiasm when you are there, answering the questions and taking care of folks. So
Thank you.
appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Councilman Crittenden?
Rid of the slots you were talking about?
Yes.
Have you already started filling up those slots? And
We have. In fact, our very first participant was a Social Security recipient, enrolled in truck driver training, in and out within 8 weeks, got a job making $27 an hour.
Right.
and usually that covers a lot of different disabilities, right?
Yes,
And-
yes.
And you try to locate them in there, like my county, Adair County.
Yes.
You try to locate them there, and it's not like the old.
They're both going to do
That-
job development. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Marcia.
Oh, no, go ahead. Yeah, so, Josh serves Adair County, so they, anyone that would call and have a disability and come to us, then he would work with that client to determine a career pathway
I just
that
had
best fits.
I just had a call last week, and she was looking for something for her son. And so I'll give them. Can you email us your information?
Yeah, I'll email that map out to all of you all, and then their contact information as well as mine.
Well, thank you.
The one thing that this grant does not have is job coach services, supported employment, or the types of assistance. It's not built into the grant where they can go with the individual and help them do their job.
She was also asking maybe sometime down the road, grants about, some of the places she was talking about, they actually stayed at a place. But this is placing them different places, so of
Yes.
course that wouldn't work.
Yes.
But I like the sound of that. And how many slots would you say were available?
Well, right now, we probably still have about 145, and it depends on, like, we budgeted the 200, and the 150 will come from the DEI, but if one client only uses $700, then that might free up some money for someone else, so. Right now, we have about 5 on the books, but about 25 or 30 that we're working with, but 5 that have been approved to go into school, so.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you.
So that's kind of one of the reasons why we're all here, to let you know, and we just got full staffed, so we do have a lot of work to do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions for Career Services?
Thank you for the shirts.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Pretty and pink. Yes, have a good.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service. Thank you. Go for your real man with pink. Next, Executive Director's Report, Mr. Vaughn Etheridge.
Good afternoon. I have about 5 things, and then I'll just leave it up to you after that. Remember, the removal group is right now is in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, on their actual 9th day of the ride, 14th day of the trip, and everything's going okay. And
Ron, have they seen any deer up there on that trip?
have they what?
Have they seen any deer?
Oh, yeah. In fact, one from the Eastern Band was hit by a deer on Saturday. And then saw another deer this morning. They're looking out for deer right now. That's the thing about it. And the one that's hit by the deer was hospitalized and let out, and she's going to be turned loose again here in, I think tomorrow, because technically they're on a day of rest today in Cape Girardeau. So anyway, that's been really the only thing that my wife and I'll join them Wednesday, and we've made the first 2 parts of the trip, and this year it worked out to where we're coming in on the end of it. You know, it's a lot of people involved in it, a lot of our workforce. Of course, we have to have the Marshal Service. Without them, you can't make the trip. I mean, it's impossible. We have to have paramedics. Without them, the trip cannot be made. We have, of course, communication, and they do an excellent job, you know, all the way through it. And then facilities, you know, they kind of got out of it a year or two when education took this upon itself and wanted back in and wanted to be a part of it. And they're leading us right now. And then anyway, it's a team effort, and it's a good thing. And so they will return the 21st. We'll have a ceremony at 11 o'clock downtown, and so it's you know, anyway, that's kind of the report on it. TOSS workshop, it happened last week. Got to be a part of it for the first time, and Dr. Sly has always headed that up, and anyway, so I got to be a part of it this year, and I found out it's a very good thing. And we had one of your council members here, Councilmember Warner, do the keynote on Wednesday to open the session. Did an outstanding job. We had probably 120 plus attend, and I got to kind of it's STEM and reading. And so, you know, we're getting a lot of emphasis placed both directions. And so I think that will do nothing but get bigger. This year, the fact that we had a walkout by the teachers, you know, it hurt it just a little bit because of what it did to the end of school years and so forth. But anyway, it'll be back. And these teachers, I mean, they're dedicated people. And I just think it's a good thing. I mean, it's something that's not going to end either. I mean, we'll continue to support it. Camp Cherokee, this week we're in Kansas, Oklahoma, with Camp Cherokee, and then we have after this week the one out in Heart of the Hills, which we're combining the younger children's camp with the older and kind of separating them out there. If we don't, we end up getting another camp come in and join us, and so we'd like to keep it all of our people, and so that's how we're conducting that. And so that's going on. College scholarship deadline is Friday, midnight Central Standard Time. So you guys have helped us a bunch. I mean, you've got word out, social media and stuff, and that's really helped us, and we appreciate it because it's just, you know, if they haven't already filed the FAFSA stuff, then they've got an issue right now because it takes 3 or 4 days to get it back. And so hopefully everyone has. I will tell you, as of Friday, our numbers was just over 3,000. Well, last year it was 5,200 total. As of today, they took in 265. Now, that's about 6 people down there taking all those in. And whenever there's a little procrastination and they hold off till the end, it really gets hectic toward the end. So we just ask that you be patient with us on that. And of course, we're going to work our hardest to get it done and get everyone notified, you know, and knows that hopefully they'll get it in on time. Youth Council, they're going to Cherokee, North Carolina, before you have your next meeting. So I wanted to put that out to you now. They're leaving July the 6th. So they'll be making a trip down there, and that's going to be their summer trip. So questions for education?
Yes, Councilman Creighton.
Sir, so the trip they're taking, is that the budget mod thing for $30,000?
Yeah. Yes, that's what that was. Yeah.
How long are they staying?
How long they stay? It's a little over a week trip. I don't know the exact sum. I mean, you said 30.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, hey, Ron, Speaker Byrd and a few other council members went to Washington to see a sovereignty play. Well, Monday, we're having that same sovereignty play at the Hard Rock. And there's many employees that's inquiring about transportation and getting up there. I wanted to know if Education Services could possibly provide a bus or a charter for employees to meet here at Cherokee Nation and be chartered up to the Hard Rock and back Monday. Is that a possibility, or is the schedule free with Mr. Qualls in Sequoia?
Or give us a cost, what that would, what
Right,
that would
okay,
entail.
and
We
we,
haven't looked at the board. We've got trips that's been planned out for 2 months now.
Okay.
I can text and see if I get anything back for Monday.
It's this Monday, right?
Right.
Yeah, is this coming Monday? What time would they need to, what time's the play start?
7:30.
7:30.
So probably leave at 6, maybe?
Yeah.
So maybe 6 and then return at 11 or something.
Return that evening.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Ron, for looking
Okay.
into that.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, next on is Head Start, Miss Verna Thompson. She's here with us.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
I just wanted to let you know, we need help in recruiting. Only 5 openings left in the vacancies and positions, so that's a record low. And Mr. Buzzer, 2 of them are at J. So if we can help us get those, and we have the cook position still open at No Water. We haven't been able to fill that. And 1 maintenance man, the cook at No Water and the maintenance man both passed this springtime, and we just haven't been able to find anybody. But enrollment and recruitment is ongoing. I believe Chad was here the last meeting or so to give you income guidelines to help us recruit children, but we have to be full at $680 for Head Start and $200 for early Head Start on day 1. And our staff will be back to school in 5.5 weeks already. It seems like they just left. But they'll be back, and we'll get in full swing celebrating our 40th anniversary this next school year. So we're very excited about that. And I can't believe I've been involved with every year some way since then as a parent, and then to my current position. But one of the things that we're really excited about right now is there's some preliminary work we need to do, but we're entertaining the notion of expanding our early Head Start program by a possible 16 to 24 babies. So maybe I'll have more information for you at the next meeting, but I just want to give you that heads up. We have an idea, kind of a proposal, if you will, to pitch for a facility, and we need to get that ironed out. But I'll have more information about it next time. Do you have any questions?
Any questions? Yes, Councilwoman Taylor?
Cherokee Heights, I think, has early Head Start.
Yes.
But no Head Start.
No Head Start.
And the administration at Pryor Public Schools is very interested in trying to formulate something. Those kids are losing a year. They're going to early Head Start, and then they can't start K-4 until they're 4. And so those 3-year-olds are just kind of hanging out
In
there.
limbo, yeah.
So they're willing to sit down and talk and try and work out something maybe unconventional. If you haven't talked to them or weren't aware of that, I just wanted to be sure that you were aware of that. And I'm sure I can schedule a meeting and see if there's anything we can do to not lose a year of education for
The
those.
3-year-olds fall into the Head Start program. So right now, all 680 slots are allocated, if you will, to different locations.
Okay.
But we try to be creative, and I like
Okay.
your unconventional idea. We like to be creative.
Yep.
So-
Okay. Thank you. I just want to make you aware.
We will visit.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Verna. That's all I have.
Councilman Buzzer?
Yeah, so you answered the question about the 3-year-olds, where is Head Start. You said expanding the babies from 16 to 24. Is that Head Start wide? Or is it-
No, it's just, it'd be in this area, that's where the waiting list is.
Oh, I see. So when do you think that may happen?
Well, they haven't even made the announcement yet. We're just really being proactive, and we have a little committee together within the program that are resident experts, if you will, to talk about all of the logistics and even trying to pursue it. We're just investigating every aspect of an expansion application.
And then what are those two positions at J?
Teachers.
Teachers? I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
Any other questions for Ms. Vernon?
I love questions.
All right. Good job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right. Safe. Next, Superintendent, Mr. Leroy Qualls, Sequoia High School.
Good afternoon. It's good to be here. Good to see everyone. I was just going to brag about how school's out and there's no pressure. Well, I'm trying to get a trip set up right now. Now, next Monday, right, the 18th?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Starting at 7, we've got a bus.
Wow, that's quick.
Who's the contact, point of contact?
Gail, get with Gail.
How many?
Joe Bird.
No, Jill.
But there'll be some people missing.
She's asking who's writing the check.
Yeah, there'll be some people left at the Hard Rock.
Joe Bird.
Joe
Joe
Bird.
Bird.
Jody Reese.
Okay.
I can go.
How many you think?
You don't know yet.
All right, so we all got a bus. Be here at 6 or be a square. Don't be a square.
I would say if the show starts at 7, you probably
7:30.
want to leave at 5:30.
Starts at 7:30.
7:30?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 6 would be great then.
And put some cold drinks in there and some sandwiches. I'm just kidding.
Is it less than 40?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Not for sandwiches, but for seats.
Oh. Martha, we want some pies on there too.
Our shuttle can carry 30 people. If you want, an activity bus can carry up to 44, I think.
That's about right, 35, 40.
40?
Yeah, but I'm just guessing here.
Okay.
Put some Snapple on there.
All right, now,
All right, yeah. Back to
you got
business.
any questions about my report? Well, I'll try to answer them now.
You got team camp going on, Coach?
Yes, we do. I think we've only had one loss today, and that was to Bartlesville. But they're pretty good.
They are
I think we lost by 6 or 7. But they're pretty good. But the kids look real good. And I'm talking about our girls. Pretty much finished up a fantastic year for the school. I know there's been hiccups here and there, but there will be at any school that you go to. My hat's off to my staff and our administrators and our kids for doing such a good job this year. Right now, we're in the midst of trying to make repairs, a few in the dorms, cafeteria, classrooms, and the gyms before the summer's out. You mentioned job coach earlier, or they did. We're actually going to have a job coach when school starts through our special education program. Looking forward to that because it'll be kind of like school to work that I did at Tahlequah, or I didn't do. I was there when they did it. Great program where the kids can go job shadow, get hands-on experience, and maybe get a lead into a job, a good job somewhere, or get an idea on what kind of career they want to pursue. So that'll be a good thing for our school. Also, as far as how to dress for interviews and interview prepping and things like that. So it'll be a good thing. One thing I wanted to clarify that we talked a little bit about, and I wasn't real prepared last time, was the ACT scores. I mean, Dr. Dobbins had mentioned something about our scores being high and, maybe higher than the state. Actually, they were in our junior class higher than the state juniors, 19.1 to 18.9, but we were a little bit below the state overall with all the students. And most of you know that all juniors have to test. You don't hold anyone back, so And that's a good deal for us. That's still super. I'm very proud of that. As mentioned, a lot of camps going on at our place right now, and we're feeding a lot of kids in our summer feed program. Star-based camp has been there. We have a STEAM type camp going on also. Someone mentioned that, I think, at our last council meeting, adding the A to STEM. And we're doing a little bit of that at our school. And just thought I'd share a phone call with you that I had this morning with a representative from the BIE. They were looking at all the schools in the country, and they give us quite a compliment. They felt like, as far as BIE schools are concerned, it looks like Sequoia is at the top of the pack in the country. And that made me really proud. And, you know, I mentioned safety a couple of months ago. As far as our campus is concerned, I will share with you, I researched between then and now, our BIE schools in Oklahoma. We have 5, but 4 of those have their own schools and own students. One of those schools, Eufaula Dormitory, actually go to Eufaula High School. So it's not really a BIE school, but the rest of them do. I'll just go over the list here. Keep in mind, our high school main building is 52 years old. We do have a tech ed building that's 10 or 11. It has 2 classrooms in it. Our robotics building is 87 years old that we have class in. And that's pretty much the gamut of it. If you average that out, it probably comes to above 52, but Riverside is 4 years old. I went to a meeting out there. There's a guard shack about 300 yards from the school itself. They get your tag number, they get your driver's license, and they call in on the radio, kind of like Tellico High School used to do. But their dorms and all their classrooms and all their facilities are 4 years old. Chickasaw Village is 14 years old. Jones, I mentioned, at Choctaw is 10 years old. And then we kind of bring up the rear being 52 years old. So again, I printed off information from all the schools, the BIE schools in Oklahoma, to make sure that I didn't misspeak. And I don't want to say much more than that because I don't know a whole bunch more than that.
Mr. Qualls, was that the results from your Safe School Committee? What was the results?
No, this is my own research.
Okay.
This is my own research.
You guys have met already, though, with your Safe School Committee?
Yeah, they met.
What were the findings in that committee? What was some of the notes that popped out there?
It's just obvious things, such as the school being wide open, 5 roads that come onto campus, being difficult as far as, even if you got one SRO out there, which entrance is he going to sit at? There's 5.
What was the solutions to some of those problems that they identified?
Well, 2, you would either have to fence the campus, which would be nice, but also wouldn't want to make it look like a prison. And 1, of course, would be nice because we put in for a new school about 3 years ago. If we had a school building that had 1 entrance, that people had to buzz in, a maglock system, if you would. I had to go down to the Marshal Service 2 or 3 weeks ago to get my fingerprints done, and it was hard getting in, even though I was there for a good cause, you know. But it's like that at most schools. You have to buzz your way in, be identified, and then you're let in. As far as us, we've got, I think, 6 classroom buildings altogether that are spread out, and that's pretty tough to monitor. I mean, if someone wanted to do something, they'd have a great advantage if they wanted to do something bad. And with what's happened and transpired in our schools, you know, we just don't want to make the news. want to help keep our kids and our staff safe. Appreciate you asking, though.
Well, I don't know, I mean, we need, if you could send a message back to the Safe School Committee to maybe give us a few options to chew on here at the council. And and also keep the cost in mind. I mean, at the new school is probably 5, 10, maybe more than that years down the road. But getting something now is something that we need to really be focusing on that is feasible within our budget, you know.
Well, let me share with you who's on the committee. We've got secretaries, a school nurse, students, teachers, our principal and our athletic director. Dorms are represented because we have to, you know, keep those kids safe. So we've got a good mixture of representation. I'm not on that committee. I asked them to give me some results, and they did. And those of you that's been in my office, you can look at my whiteboard. That's been, the things I've got written down have been on there for 6 years.
There's no such thing as bulletproof glass, is there?
There is, but you do, like Red Lake, Michigan, the shooting there, they had bulletproof glass. The guy steps over to the next pane and shoots it out and goes in. And
So those are the things I would think is maybe cost.
And we have a lot of glass. If you've been to our school building, we have a lot of glass, which is not real privy.
When does that committee meet again?
When school starts.
School starts?
Yeah. I got the results for this spring, but they'll meet again sometime in the fall.
When are you guys set to implement some of these solutions?
I don't know what we can do.
So it's here, so it's a new school is a solution?
Well, to come up with some kind of comprehensive master plan to renovate, or do we want to Band-Aid something, or do we want to come out of the Stone Age, so to speak?
Yeah. I don't know.
What we have going for us is a great climate.
Sure.
But sometimes, you know, I'm sure some of these other schools had a great climate too.
If
We appreciate what we have. I mean, it's no, you know, it's not complaining at all. We've got a good school.
Coach, if you guys don't mind, I wouldn't be opposed, or Shambaugh, he's really familiar with law enforcement. If maybe include the council on your next committee, and I just like to sit in and just listen to what people have to say.
Sure.
If you would just
I'd
send us an invite.
I'd
Or if
invite.
anyone else wants to sit in on that same.
Absolutely, it's open. We did have a dorm assessment done early last week, on active shooter on campus. And they did the drill twice. I know our 2 ladies that work in the girls' dorm were both killed the first time, you know, and our lady at the front desk of the girls' dorm, I may have made it out the second time. I was in there watching if they missed her, but she was waiting for them to open the door so she could take off running, and that's not going to happen in real time. So we took a big hit. We lost almost all the staff on that first practice.
This is a reenactment.
Right.
All right, I wanted to make sure we get this.
Well, like I said,
Well, I'm looking at Talina, our legal here. Let's
no,
verify that.
we had a safety assessment done with the marshals coming up to assess our dorm situation.
And we did it here too.
They went through 2 drills, and after school starts, I've asked them to do it at the high school also.
And counselors, if you've noticed, we've got a window right there between our secretary now. As you come in, we put that window up in just the last few weeks.
It's
there.
bulletproof glass as well, isn't it?
I didn't ask, but they'll at least, you know.
You know, I hate to say it, but there are disgruntled people in this world, and we can't control that.
You gotta protect that first contact is what they told us.
Right.
That first contact, that first person. So if you protect that and hit that door lock, that'll defray a lot of that other stuff.
At Arcosa, I listened to
Yeah.
the Sandy Hook principal talk, and his presentation was 122. And he didn't explain it until about the end of the presentation. And he mentioned that he resigned there after that was over, and then he was now the National Safe Schools Chairman. And he mentioned that when the shooting started, of course, no one's ready for it. He's on one end of the cafeteria, and he walks toward the shooter with a lot of space between them, using his outside voice, as he explained, and that the shooter stopped and watched him. And he said, by the time I got just about within range, I'm thinking, I got to keep walking and talking, and when's he going to get me? And he said, about the time I thought that, he put the gun to himself and committed suicide. And it was because the police come in the other end of the cafeteria. Well, he explained that 122, man, it took 2 minutes and 2 seconds by the time 911 button was pushed, the messenger, between then and the time the police walked into the cafeteria. That's pretty quick. But look at the lives that were lost. I mean, he said third grader, fourth grader, teacher. You know, it's evil.
Hey, also the immersion school is another part of that of our school. We probably need to, maybe if we're just gonna get a guard at the gate, to maybe extend it after the entrance to the immersion.
There's a lot of things that need to be done. Just to hire a guard is money.
Sure. Well, those are things we'll talk about, I guess, when school starts up, and we'll try to.
We've been talking about them for a long time. I'm just bringing some of the things out that our Safe Schools Committee has come up with. And I know you guys have a heart for Sequoia, and I know all of you have hearts for schools, you know. Most schools have those issues. Some have done a fantastic job of doing what they can to make their campus safe.
We did the health, why can't we do the school?
Yes, Councilwoman.
I heard, I mean, I don't know where I saw, read, that there's a possibility we could get our military involved to guard our schools. I know that's far-fetched, but as part of their duties, you know, I mean, the military work in security, so let that be part of the training. I just read that someplace. I thought that was a good idea. Just
If it's feasible, it probably would be. And I know that SROs are important because, where was it, correct me if I'm wrong, either Ohio or Indiana, where the SRO took the guy down, and he did shoot one student in the leg, I believe it was, but the SRO got him before he did any further damage.
Councilman Shambaugh?
Yes, sir.
How many SROs do you have?
One?
Do you feel that's adequate for the size of your campus?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. You're kind of spread out, aren't you?
5 entrances.
Yeah. You probably need-
5 roads coming into the
yeah, you
school.
need more than one.
There's a lot of things that we need to do.
Oh, yeah. And I think at any school, you know, now that this has come to light, you know, the design of this room is horrible. I mean, where we're at's horrible. And, you know, and you really don't think about that, and you've had to now, and I think every school's in the same boat that you're in.
Sure.
You know, I've been to training with several different schools and active shooters too, but, you know, there's a lot of little things that can give you time, you know, and time's a big deal, you know, in something like that. And even the bars that, on the doors, you know, there's some bars that are very simple that you can put on your classroom doors that it's just about impossible to get in. I don't know how much glass you have on your inches of your doors to your classrooms, but they're very inexpensive bars that can be purchased to barricade that door. It's a very good, inexpensive, good start too. So things like that could be looked into.
Councilman Crittenden?
Mr. Falls, Where did you say we go from here? Like you said, we've done a lot of talking, so who's gonna be?
Plan of action, wherever that might come from. And I do know that, the chief is going to Washington a couple of times, I think, to lobby for a school. Because I've had to provide some information for whatever his report was. Just, plan of action is kind of like those students, in Florida screaming for someone to do something.
But it's the ball's turning in, huh?
Councilman Dobbins?
Just on a lighter note, Leroy, your summer athletic program, I noticed where the OSSA has put in a dead period, two-week dead period. Your football coaches can't have any contact with your players. Is that, I think that's good. Ought to be longer. But what about the other sports? Are the basketball coaches?
Same way.
They have to stay away from them?
Yeah, same way.
Okay.
It's pretty much family time, as they call it.
Yes, Councilman Buzzer?
Leroy, you mentioned Riverside School a while ago, and I've been there just within the last 2 or 3 months. It is a really well-protected campus. Like you said, they have a guard shack out there. Not only that, but the buildings are 4 years old, of course.
Mm-hmm.
They're new, and it really looks nice. I wonder, how old were those buildings there before the VIE went in and replaced them? You don't have any idea?
No, it was, I could find out, but,
I mean,
yeah,
Riverside's been there for years.
Right.
Like Sequoia.
right.
Were they, in those types of buildings, like the tribes down the southwestern part, do they get involved in any funding in those school buildings, or is it strictly BIA funding?
I think it's probably a team effort on some of the stuff that I went through, right?
Thanks, sir.
All right. Good report.
Thank you.
Well,
Have a good day.
Keep us in mind on that safe school committee. Keep us in mind.
Okay.
Old business, none pending. New business, none pending. Is there any announcements?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw something at you guys. I talked to Ron out there. The gentleman that came up with the idea of retracing the Trail of Tears, he's in Albuquerque, and I've talked to the administration about this, and they haven't acted very well on it. But it was his idea, and we very seldom do we even mention his name. He's in a wheelchair, but he's very active. He still goes around speaking, and he's in Albuquerque. And I visited with him 5 or 6 weeks ago. He'd like to come to here and address those students, but he doesn't have the means to get here. So I'm just going to throw this at you guys, and he's got to have someone helping him because he is in a wheelchair. It probably costs $3,500 to $4,000 to get him here to speak and get back. And then if he says he can make it, then we have to have him put on the agenda because the administration has to approve the agenda for someone to speak. So I'm just throwing this out for you guys. I'd like for him to come and you guys meet him. His name is Dr. Mike Morris. He was the executive director of our education department some 20 years ago. Created a lot of the leadership programs. Most of the programs we have, he's the one that created those. But if we get a hold of him and he'd like to come, I'd like to have you guys as help, maybe coming up with some funds to help him get here.
Speaker, is that something that the council budget could allocate towards?
Yeah, I think Jody could probably find some money somewhere. If that's okay with you guys, I mean, I'm just,
Is there anybody in opposition of it, or? Yes, Councilman Ingram?
Joe, you just said the administration has to approve our agendas?
They have to approve that agenda for him to be here because when they return, the bikers return, it is their agenda, not our agenda.
It's got to be a little give and take, though. If we want someone to be on the agenda, it's got to be give and take. Yeah.
Yeah, it works both ways.
Yeah. So, well, is anyone in opposition of Dr. Morris coming and maybe appropriating $3,500 or $4,000? All right, I don't see any opposition, Speaker.
Well, first then I'll have to see. Canaan, check that out, see if they're willing to have him say a few words.
Okay.
I think everybody would enjoy it. He's really a pretty neat guy. I mean, he worked for us for years. Anyway, go ahead.
Councilman Crittenden?
Well, we'll have some more discussion on it before we vote on it, right?
Next week. isn't it?
Appropriate.
No, we're just, we got money allocated in the council budget that we'll put towards it, but it's our budget.
Oh, okay.
So if
The
anyone's in
Jody
opposition, huh?
The Jody.
The Jody.
But Jody, we'll make sure that everybody gets contacted and say, this is what we came up with, before we would say anything.
Oh, not out of our community.
No. It's just council budget as a whole.
Within the limit.
No, we won't do
There you go.
that.
Any other announcements?
That's it.
Saying none, hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved. Second, all in favor?
How much time?